All right, people, what is going on? What is going on? This is episode 35 of the VF Cast. I am VF Baller, and I got a pretty important topic I want to talk about today. It's probably one of the most important topics I've talked about on this channel, mostly because it's going to be somewhat of a shift in my gaming habits. And I've already performed that shift, and things have changed as far as my content and what I used to talk about till now. But this is my first time really actually going to discuss it with you guys. So hopefully you guys will hang around for a while and enjoy this episode. I really appreciate everybody who's been listening or just watching the content lately. It's pretty cool for my secondary channel. My first channel, First and Frame Rates, is actually doing very well as well. But it's all thanks to everyone who decides to take the time out of their day to listen and follow my content. I really appreciate it. All right, episode 35. Gaming to the beat of my own drum. What does that mean? I'm pretty sure a lot of people can understand that, because people march to the beat of their own drum when they feel like they want to do their own thing, and that's basically what I'm doing. I feel like at this point, I just want to play games that I want to play. I don't want to play games that are out because they're new. I don't want to play games because I see everybody else is doing it. And I notice a lot of people do that. And that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I feel like if you're having fun, and I definitely want to preface this, if you're having fun playing the games you're playing, do it. This is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I have fun doing what I'm doing. Now, I just find that myself knowing, like, look, these are games that I want to play, and I'm going to play them. And I'll get back to any game that I want to get back to if that's the case. Now, I got all these consoles on the screen because I basically, at one point, and I just been looking over just to make sure, because I looked at these, I've played every single console on this screen at least 2 or 3 times. At the minimum, 2 or 3 times. Even the handhelds. The Intellivision, the ColecoVision, 7800, 2600. I mean, some of these consoles were not even around when a lot of, when some people weren't even alive when they were around. And I've been gaming since the 80s. And I've had 4 genres that I really love to play. And I've expanded since then, but these are the 4 genres that I love to play. Sports. I love to play arcade spaceship shooters, or just shooting running gun games. I guess I put those in the same category. Racing games and fighting games. I could play those pretty much all day, forever. And those games I usually just resort back to when I'm bored, because I like to expand and play other games. I like to try to play RPGs, and I like to play adventure games and games that kind of mix up the genres that I'm playing, or whatever the case may be. But lately, I've always tried to stay away from games that are, new. Because my main thing is, I don't like playing games that everybody else is playing at one time, because I hear too much about the game. It kind of diminish my excitement. I like playing games when nobody else is really playing. Like for instance, I just got finished beating, and I know this is like really old. Today's standards, I guess you can call it old. I just got finished going back and finished Batman Arkham City. I know that's crazy. I mean, yeah, that's a PS3 game. I just finished that, and I enjoyed it because nobody was talking about it on the YouTube channels. Nobody was talking about it on the social medias. So I was able to fall back and just play it with nobody influencing, or spoiling or putting out information about it. I just played it. And to an extent, when the game was out, I kind of ignored it, because I'm not really that big on superhero games. It's another reason why I haven't finished Spider-Man. And that's maybe another game I'm gonna go back and play, because nobody's talking about Spider-Man now, so I could play it and enjoy it on my own without no influence. So now I just finished playing Arkham City. I just started playing Arkham Knight, and like I said, I know I'm behind everybody, but this is the best way I love to play games. I love to play games under these conditions because it's silence. I don't hear about those games anymore. And probably after I do Batman, finish Batman, I'm probably gonna play Spider-Man and Miles Morales. I'll probably play both of those and get those out the way. When nobody's talking about them. It's one of the reasons why I haven't started. I have not bought Forbidden West. It's one reason I haven't bought Sifu or Sifu or whatever you call it. I will probably try to play those games after the Spider-Man games. As a matter of fact, when I decide to play Forbidden West, I'm probably going to go back and play the first one because I'm about 20% into the first Horizon Zero Dawn, but I stopped playing that game because too many people was talking about it. I just don't like to play games like that. I think the only games I really played like that, and it was a hassle because I had to tone everything out. I remember playing The Last of Us 2. I played that and I played that when that first came out, and I played the first Last of Us, and I played Uncharted 4 and the legacy version of the game. The Lost, I don't think it's called Lost Legacy. I don't know. I can't remember. The one that came along with A Thief's End. So I played those when those first came out because I really, really liked those games. And I actually took a back seat to Last of Us 2 in the middle of playing it because everybody was talking about it so much. I just stopped playing it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait until this dies down. And I end up eventually beating the game probably like 6-7 months later. Because I just don't like playing the game when everybody else is playing it. Like Elden Ring is out now, and everybody's talking about how hard it is, and and I know y'all guys can say, oh yeah, you can easily avoid it, don't talk about it, or just dodge it. Yeah, that's a fair point, but with what I do as far as this channel and my other channel, I'm constantly on social media, and I'm like, I see it, but I just I avoid it. I avoid it in that sense, but I don't want to avoid it and play the game at the same time. That's kind of not avoiding it. You know what I mean? But I don't see myself playing Elden Ring no time soon, but I just see how everybody is a collective that, those new games be trending, and I just try to stay away from it. Now, as far as Gran Turismo 7, racing games, fighting games, spaceship shooters or running guns, sports titles, now I play those right away. Those are the games I love to play. I don't mind playing those too much, and in some cases I don't even play the sports games right away. Like I still go back and play older sports titles because nobody's talking about them. Usually I find the most fun in sports titles maybe like a year after they're released, but that's not an issue when everybody else is playing the game. That's more because these developers and all the problems in the game are kind of like being patched up every now and every 3 weeks or something. And I get to play the game when it's untouched. So I mean that's basically how that goes. But I've stopped doing that because let's go back for a second to talk about my video I made recently earlier this week, like why I haven't played a single football game. Just real short because I don't want to go too far into it, but I'm going to expand it to everything else I do. I just haven't had any fun with those games. And it's starting to trickle over to other games that I'm playing now. I don't have fun with games that are, like I said earlier, that are just like brand new. I just go back and play them later. That gives me a level of backlog that I have, but I'm okay with the backlog because it gives me motivation to knock it out. And so I'll probably have a backlog maybe like I had a backlog like 20 games at one point. I knocked those down and I got a backlog maybe like 6 or 7 games, and I named them already from the Horizon series, the Batman the game. I got to play Batman Arkham Knight and Batman Origins. Then I got to turn right around and play the Spider-Man game. So I have like about 6 or 7 games that's in my backlog, which is not bad. Now, as far as Gran Turismo 7 comes out, that's just going to be a game I play casually, just like I do with Gran Turismo Sport, Forza, games that I play, the racing games, Project Cars, or whatever, Assetto Corsa. I play those games casually, throughout the week or whatever. But games that I'm focused on finishing, that's where the backlog comes in. And also, there's other games that I have in my, on my collection then I'll either go back and play, or I'll go back and finish. That's that, and that's the casual side of things as well. So, I'm having a good time coming up with that type of formula. And like I said, I'm gaming to the beat of my own drum, and it just feels, much more satisfying to do so, because I see, and this is another thing I want to get into. I'm already at the 10-minute mark. I want to wait. I want to give you guys another 10 minutes or so. But this is another thing that I think about as well. A lot of people play games because they feel like they're pressured to. And I don't care what anybody says. I truly believe this. People play games because they feel like they are being pressured into playing new games right away. They feel like they have to keep up with everybody, and to a point where they're forcing themselves to enjoy a game. What does that mean to force yourself? You're playing a game and trying to have fun in a game where you may or may not have the time, or you just mentally don't want to do it, but you want to do it because you want to be a part of the conversation. People may not want to admit that, but it's true. We all do it. I've been guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I stopped playing The Last of Us 2, like I was talking before. I'm trying to keep up with what everybody else is talking about, and I'm not having fun. I had a blast when I went back and played it later. I just had a blast. And I know I do the same thing with other games that I'll play. And I'm not telling anybody it's a bad thing or a good thing. You should do this or you should do that. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you what I do. But if you choose to do it, make sure you're doing it because of your own satisfaction. I think pretty much every console that I got on the screen, I probably have owned or do own now. Outside probably like the 3DO and the ColecoVision television and the Atari stuff. Oh, the Switch also, but we're not going to talk about the Switch. I need to get a Switch. I know, man. I need to get one. But I genuinely have fun playing games. Like casually, I want to go back and play, some of the Castlevania games from the 360. There's a couple other games on the 360 I want to play. There's a couple of games on the PlayStation 1 Classics I want to play. And I'm not going to let that get in the way. And I'm not going to let pressure from these new games and other people playing games to get in the way of me enjoying these games. Because, I bought a lot of games. If you see any of my VF pickup games, I bought a lot of games from the PS1, PlayStation 3 store that are PlayStation 1 Classics on my PS3. I've bought a lot of games. Some more Ratchet and Clank games that I love playing that game. That's pretty much another part of my backlog, low key. But I love playing the games when I get ready. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do. Because you can tell when people are like, oh, I'm burnt out in this and this, that, and the third. And it's kind of crazy that, people subject themselves to that. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Especially for content creators. Personally, I think that's the worst part of being content creators, because you playing so much of the new stuff, you don't get to play what you want to play. Now, I don't think nobody really thinks about that. I'm a different type of content creator when it comes to these games, but I want people to understand this. And it's not a knock on any content creator, but a lot of these content creators, a lot of them, and it's not a knock. Once again, I'm not saying that because I know people get a little sensitive about this. A lot of content creators like to play other games, but they're miserable because they have to play the new games to keep up with the content that people are watching. I'm not that type of person. I will sit here and have the little audience I have, and I want that little audience to be happy with what I'm putting out, because I'm happy putting that content out, instead of being miserable playing these new games, being at a deadline, rushing, trying to put this content up just for people that are probably going to get that content elsewhere and want to compare your content to theirs and not necessarily enjoying what you're putting out. That's why I try to put out content that is like different. I like to be putting out commentary on the content that I have. Like if you look at the last few episodes I've done, I think the content is either relevant, and it's not like I'm not talking about what everybody's talking about, but I put my own spin on it. I put my own angle on that content. Like the other content, like I talk about Google Stadia, I put my own commentary over that. I'm not necessarily just trying to put it out there because usually it'd be like days or maybe a week later. I think the only one I talked about that was like really like relevant right away was the Nintendo Wii U shop, because I think that's something that people need to know right away, because you're going up against time at that point. The G4 TV thing has been out, probably a few weeks before I talked about that. I'm just thinking about, I talked about Nintendo GameCube prices. That's not even relevant. Those type of things. It's like, not only did I game to the beat of my own drum, I try to do content to the beat of my own drum. And I appreciate everybody else who do that, because there's some great content creators out here that do that, but you don't get to see them because the algorithm itself don't even put that type of stuff up there. Like, they want the new stuff. They want the stuff that works right away, that the brand new stuff to push new content or brand new stuff so they can get people to buy new things. Old stuff, retro stuff, which has picked up a lot of steam lately, for the past few years. That stuff is starting to be to the forefront now, because retro gaming is actually pretty cool now, to talk about older games and stuff like that. And those are the type of things I like to talk about. Like the video I did on the Capcom Fighting Collection that's coming out. I think that's great that Darkstalkers is getting some love. Like I said, I'm a big fighting game, and I love the fact that goes into that. And we should get more of a collective of celebrating games and gaming in every facet. If it's on a PS5 or if it's on the Atari 2600, it should be celebrated across the board. This is why I try to talk about as much as I can when it comes to current games. Even I double back and I'll talk about older stuff. Even I used to do the pickup videos. The pickup videos is an epitome of that. To not necessarily talk about newer stuff all the time. Let's talk about older stuff that's actually really good. There's some high quality games in every console that I have up here, but they get thrown by the wayside and not really talked about as much. And there are talked about it sometimes, like, oh, some content creators did this back in 2008 and 2009. Yeah, but there's a different, you have a different vision. You have a different take on things as things go, further away from its originals, its original content or the original, discussion about it. Like right now, a lot of people are just now finding out how great the PlayStation 2 really was. Oh, PlayStation 2 is great because it sold almost 157 million copies of their console. No, there's a lot of things about that console that made it great. The Dreamcast was great because of this, and this. Not necessarily because it was Sega's last console. People are starting to find a lot of things about the PlayStation 3, the 360, the Super Famicom. All of these games that has, not games, all these consoles that had like great moments about them that somewhat either overlooked but weren't talked about enough as much. It's one of the reasons why the TurboGrafx 16 caught on really big back in 2012. They caught on really big back in 2012 because people were like, wait a minute, what is that? You know what I mean? And I think down the road, people are going to really start to, they're starting to do it now. They're starting to appreciate what's out there. And to, turn this full circle, this is why I do the content that I do, because I want you to appreciate every facet about gaming. I don't want to sit here and say, I don't want to be the 130th content creator making the same content that everybody else is doing. When you look at the new games that are out, everybody's streaming the new games that they're talking about, and I don't knock it. I mean, that's what they do. But I don't feel like I will do anybody justice by talking about it, again. Maybe I put my own different take on it. If it's too big or if it's something that, interests me, I probably will. Like the Street Fighter 6 thing. I know some people probably was like, well, you talked about Street Fighter 6. That's one of the 4 genres that I love to talk about or I love to play. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that. GTA is another one. The trilogy, I've talked about that a lot because that those games have everything that I want in one. They have the run and gun shooting. They have the driving so I can race. you know, they also have what is it? They have sports in the games. You know, they have a little bit of everything. So Grand Theft Auto is just a whole beast in itself. So that's pretty much how I feel about that. But in some cases, I like to talk about the current topics, but I don't like to talk about them right away. I'm not a breaking news type person. I'm not like the type of person that like to play games right away. I'm not. I like to sit back and assess things before I talk about it. I mean, outside of like if it's really, really, really the type of interest of mine, I will probably play it right away or I'll talk about it right away. But for the most part, I'll wait and I get more information and then I give you my take on things. And with that being said, I really appreciate everybody who has been doing that and I mean who has been listening. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because this is just who I am at the end of the day. I had to really realize that. And when I talk about the shift of my gaming, I'm just gonna be more I'm still gonna be playing sports titles. I have to get back into playing football games. But I will say, more of these games that I'm going to be putting to the forefront, I'm just going to continue to do. And I'm going to give you guys my take on things, just different, same topics, but different angle on it. So I think that's where I'm going to, I think that's where I'm going to keep going at. And I thank everybody who's been watching and listening. Hopefully you guys understood this. And I really appreciate you guys for watching and listening. If you like this content, the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. I don't know with this with the VF Cast. I want to let you guys know before I go. I don't know if I will put this on different platforms. I'm really thinking about it. Kind of like the First and Frame Rates show, where I have it on iTunes and Spotify and all that. I'm really thinking about that. I don't know. I'll probably put something out there to ask you guys, should I do that? But at the end of the day, the game is going to continue. It's just going to be a little bit different. I game to the beat of my own drum, and I encourage people who really want to enjoy gaming to do so. You don't have to chase down what everybody else is doing. Do your own thing. Everybody's an individual and they have their unique tendencies to do things. Trust me, I've been there. I know what it's like when I try to do what other people are doing. For me personally, I've end up miserable. And I don't want you to be the same way. Play games because you really enjoy playing said game. Don't play the game because everybody else is doing it. Peer pressure is an old topic that that we've been dealing with for years, ever since I've been a kid, and it's been around before then, and it's easy to fall to that. So be your own gamer. That's all I gotta say. All right, y'all. I will see you guys later on in the week. I will try my best to give you guys daily content over here. Driving home from work or whatever the case may be, whatever crossed my mind, I'll give my opinion about it and I'll upload it to the channel. All right, I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for making it this far. You guys are awesome. All right, y'all. Peace.